It's a very well-kept secret. But it's a unique Great British institution with a lineage stretching back to the 11th century and the Crusaders. Its role today reflects the founding principles and ethos of its two legendary parent organisations, the Order of St. John and the British Red Cross Society. Their humanitarian efforts to provide care and comfort to those wounded in battle. A registered charity, it's the only civilian organisation of its kind to operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, for all three services, beyond the call of duty. It provides holistic care, support and comfort to more than 15,000 patients a year. Yet, curiously, their 44 dedicated full-time welfare officers remain unsung heroes, still largely unrecognised, not just by the military community itself, but by members of both Houses of Parliament, and not least, the general public.
We provide human support, welfare and practical support to wounded personnel in the services, in the battlefield, to those personnel and their dependents and some entitled civilians throughout the world, wherever the British military are posted or deployed.
The first one was to say that was admission to the mental health unit.
What time, sir?
That was just 5:35.
Right. Okay, oh, so not so late.
What is now the Defence Medical Welfare Service, DMWS, was established in the 1930s with a mission to provide practical and emotional hospital welfare support in both operational and non-operational areas to secure the well-being of all members of the armed forces.
Okay, you're going into RCDM Birmingham Selly Oak Hospital.
DMWS welfare officers have an in-depth knowledge of military traditions and culture and are highly trained in counselling skills, assessment and support in bereavement.
We're very privileged. Our staff come from a huge range of backgrounds. They have one thing in common: they care for their fellow human beings. That's their motivation. I remain always humbled and impressed by what I see them doing in the field. But basically it's about caring for your fellow humans in difficulty.
Today, working in close partnership with and fully funded by the Ministry of Defence, welfare officers are based alongside their service colleagues, mainly in civilian hospitals, now that most dedicated military hospitals have been closed down. Service personnel are treated in Ministry of Defence hospital units, which are part of the National Health Service in Britain, in designated provider hospitals in Germany, and in military medical units in Cyprus and Northern Ireland. This is Bielefeld. The team of DMWS welfare officers are fully integrated into the hospital in Germany.
The initial area of concern was the auntie came over just to visit because she was due to have the baby.
Yeah. But I think apparently he's due to go back in the next couple of weeks.
Day in, day out, they work closely with their military welfare opposite numbers and civilian bilingual hospital liaison officers.
Im Johannesstift, haben wir da irgendwelche neuen Sachen? Hat Gerda irgendwas gesagt?
Nein, da ist nichts Neues. Ich habe eben mit ihr gesprochen.
Yeah, we had a one-year admission.
Patients are visited by a welfare officer on admission, throughout their stay, and on discharge.
So, has he been to visit today?
Yeah, I've had a visit this morning. He said it's progressing well. They've taken the drain out. On a scale of 1 to 10, yeah, they're probably a 10 really, aren't they? So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I can't say fairer than that.
I was the only British person in there, and they came down to see me every day, and to be perfectly honest, they are absolutely brilliant.
Speaking as someone who has been a patient in the hospital here as well as being one of the padres, they're important when you're in hospital. So the work they do is tremendous.
I've got to say 10.
I would give them a 10.
I've been in the army for about nearly 9 years. I joined in...
On patrol at 6:23 on July 19th, 2007, in Afghanistan, Derek's armoured vehicle was hit by a landmine. He was rushed to a field hospital, where both legs were immediately amputated before he was flown back to the UK.
I remember exactly everything because I was talking for almost more than an hour after the incident happened. The last thing I remember was Anas was speaking to me, encouraging me, saying to me, "Jared, be strong and you can make it." And that was it. And I didn't realize till I woke up in the Saleh hospital after more than 8 days, when they told me that I passed away in Afghanistan, in the field hospital. They were preparing my body to be put in a body bag when I started breathing again. And I thank God for that I'm still alive. They really helped my wife, the welfare office. They really helped my wife in communicating and also in the house. They provided the house for my wife and my daughter, and also things that I wanted, like clothing to wear and other stuff, DVD, and they get so many things. Yeah, when I was there, they really did a good job.
Phil, wife Jackie, and daughter Chantal. Just back from a 6-month tour in Iraq, Phil was nearly killed in a motorcycle crash.
I know for a fact that Jackie was very reliant on them, which I thought, obviously, and I still think even now, was such a great thing for them to be somebody who is there to give the support to Jackie, because she was very appreciative, had been superb.
He was life-threatening and critical, and he most probably wouldn't survive the night. Had it not been for them, I would have broke down. I would have most probably not be here myself, is the truth. Because what I went through was so traumatic. And when I was really at the worst, there was my daughter to consider, and they would be there for her, and that meant the world.
The main worry was I knew I had internal injuries. I've got movement back, I didn't have any movement through my knee, but the muscle loss around here is hard to adapt as well.
Since being here in Germany, I have a tumour and I've had a brain hemorrhage and 9 DVTs in my leg, which in itself has caused problems for the family and for my husband with work, having to have long stays in hospital and not being in very good health. Excellent is the first word that comes to mind. They are friendly, happy. If you have a problem, they will be there at the drop of a hat. They will listen and they will act on what you say, regardless of who your husband is, who he works for, what their rank is. You are your person in your own right, and you are their priority, not your husband, not your husband's work. And if any problems arise, they are there to deal with it discreetly.
I had 3 call-outs. There was one at 5:35, and this was about a serviceman that had been admitted to the mental health unit following an attempt at self-harm.
For welfare officers, it's already a highly demanding role. But crucially, unlike any other welfare body, DMWS personnel are in addition committed to deploy, sometimes at short notice, to war zones anywhere in the world. In recent years, Northern Ireland, the Falklands, the First Gulf War, Kosovo, and now Iraq, Afghanistan.
Our welfare officers are exposed to exactly the same conditions and risks as the service personnel at the front line. There's no discrimination from incoming missiles. Our staff working in their departments in the UK, Cyprus and Germany are civilians and they remain independent of the military chain of command. However, in a field hospital situation, they come under military chain of command, but still retain their independence and are able to receive confidential information that a member of service personnel would want to share with them.
Whenever British Armed Forces deploy on operations, DMWS welfare officers become fully integrated into field hospitals, a key part of the staff on the night. To prepare them for the reality, they are very highly trained.
Below leg amputation, and also
Don't know what's going to happen to me now. I'm not going to be able to fight anymore.
And clearly, given our background with Red Cross and St John, we don't discriminate. So if civilians or prisoners of war are admitted to hospital, we provide the same welfare support that we would to service personnel.
I'm welfare. My name's Vivian. اسمها ليفيان.
Lancet. And I want to find out what he needs. He's going to be treated by the doctors and the nurses, but I want to find out what he needs in clothes.
تقول لك أنا أعطيك شنو الأشياء الاحتياجات اللي تريدها.
My name is Bill. اسمه Bill. And I'm a welfare officer from Defence Medical Welfare Service.
He just came in now, so he doesn't know what kind of food.
Right, yes. Well, we'll make sure that it is appropriate for him.
Personally, I'm a big fan because not only do I bump into them on deployment, but I've been a consumer of theirs. I was in hospital in Belfast in the early 90s, and part of my recovery I owe to the tender loving care I got from them.
When a service person dies, it's obviously quite a traumatic experience. When there's one death, there may be 4 or 5 other guys that are involved in that incident that's led up to that. So his friends or his colleagues, they are very upset. They're often in hospital themselves with injuries. The colleagues would come and see their dead friend. They would be able to say goodbye to them.
Emotionally, we can be affected by some of the sights we see, but it's more actually the families and the patients and how they deal with it that bring us through, and we work very closely to ensure that we're protected so we can maintain a professional service throughout, which can be challenging sometimes, but that's what we're there to do.
You never get used to dealing with the injuries we deal with and the cases that we deal with, and that makes it very special and very rewarding, and we're very honoured and privileged to be in that position where we can help these families and these patients.